Hi, guys. It's Dr. Liz Jenkins with Dr. Liz Coaching again. How are you? And welcome to Designing Your Relationship, where the focus is really on starting with you, okay? And where we go with that and how we show up. But before we can show up, we really need to do some housekeeping. And the housekeeping that we're going to talk about or continue talking about is forgiving. And why would you even want to forgive someone who has hurt you? Well, yesterday we talked about, or I talked about, that when you are hanging on to hurt or anger or bitterness, your feelings stay unresolved. They're packaged in that capsule that continues to follow you through life, follow you through relationships, through situations, and it robs you of the joy that you might be able to be experiencing right now, or the joy you might be able to be experiencing in a new relationship or a job or a moment. It also, because it's still encapsulated and we haven't worked it through, it switches and impacts our perspective. And so we're maybe not necessarily looking at events and interactions, I want to say, with a neutral perspective. We're coming preloaded. You know what? And hanging on to bitterness and anger, it does create physical illness. We're seeing that all the time. And we need to let go of that. Your body needs it, your brain needs it. High blood pressure, anxiety, stress, where folks are coming down with some pretty heavy illnesses that might be able to be mitigated or maybe even completely removed if we started doing our housework, our cleaning up. You know what? And forgiving can help you restore what's been lost. You can get back into that place of joy and connectedness with your sweetheart, with your spouse, with yourself. Okay? But is forgiving and forgiving and moving on really possible? Well, let's talk about, before we see, is it possible? And by the way, yes, it is possible. It does take time and patience. But let's talk about why some folks stay in the place where we don't want to let go. There's value and stuff. So being wronged, being hurt, it feels unfair. And we don't want to let the person who wronged us, who did something mean to us or let us down or betrayed us or surprised us, or we don't want to let them off scot-free. We want some kind of justice. We're feeling pain and we want them to feel and have consequences for the pain and the frustration and the angst and the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning anxiety attacks. We want them to be held accountable, right? It also sometimes feels good to hang on to a grudge. It feels good to sort of punish the other person, even if they're not around. And we punish them because we're oftentimes rallied around by folks in our world, and they come in and they support us and they say, poor you, this is really wrong, this is terrible, this is awful. And it feels good at that moment to feel validated, to feel supported, to feel connected. Right. So if you're ready to do some housekeeping, and if you're open, because it does take a mindset to be open to forgiving, letting that go, and moving forward, let's talk about it. Right? You're going to need to do some very specific steps, some things, and it's not going to happen at once. I wish it did. I wish we could just wave the magic wand. But you're going to need to be able to get perspective. Remember when we said when we're hanging on to this incident or series of incidents, this betrayal, the broken trust, when we're hanging on to that, it skews our perspective. So you're going to need to be able to be open to seeing if there are other answers or other reasons why this happened. Okay. And being able to open your heart and forgive, release that pain, that anger, that hurt. Now, being betrayed, being hurt, it's not okay. I'm not saying it's okay. There's a difference between being okay and, yeah, that's right, and also realizing, it's not okay, but I have a choice. And that's what I want you to do. Start looking at, can you have a choice to see more than one angle in the situation? Can you give yourself the choice to see the bigger picture, to know that it's not worth hanging on to this? It's not worth punishing them, and in turn, you're actually punishing yourself. To see the bigger picture, the choice is to see the bigger picture and have like those scales and decide, is it worth me escalating this to the point where I'm doing, let's say it's a physical affair. And so they slept around on you. So is it worth me hunting them down or having revenge sex or revenge affair? Is it worth me posting it from the mountaintops on social media or emptying out the bank accounts and going to a long, ugly divorce? The bigger picture is that, well, there might be other valuable things that aren't worth this escalation. Maybe you want to keep the relationship. Maybe you want to be able to keep co-parenting or still retire out because divorce is expensive. Okay. And when you're in this place of housekeeping and cleaning things up and releasing, they say, keep, toss, and donate, or keep, donate, and toss bags. Where are you going to put this event? Are you going to keep it? Are you going to donate it? Or are you going to toss it? And so we need to get to a point where you're letting your logical part of your brain step in and help managing and supporting you and overriding these impulsive emotions where you want to keep punishing, you want to keep hanging it on. And as you step and get further away from the event and you're doing the work you need to do, forgiveness becomes possible. When the crisis starts to settle and you've let your brain catch up, the bigger perspective, the ability to step back from it emotionally. So give yourself time, give yourself patience, give yourself forgiveness, and be open to the concept of, I think it's time I move on. So I'm going to stop for right now, but I wanted to thank you guys. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about some quick tips on how to start the process of forgiveness. Right now, today, it's opening your head and opening your mind and opening your heart to, is it time for me to clean house? Is it time for me to start tossing, or at least donating, this in my life? DM me. I would love to chat. I would love to hear how you've managed, or if you're struggling with a betrayal or hurt or wrong. It doesn't have to be, affair. I mean, oftentimes in our marriages or relationships, we had certain expectations and we start to feel let down and the relationship erodes. I'm here. I can help you. I would love to talk to you, because it starts with one, and your spouse or partner, if they're interested, about my Reignite. It's my one-on-one high-ticket coaching where we get through all of these things, not just this one, but all of them. And we interrupt the negative, dissatisfying patterns, and we help you reconnect with yourself and then redesign and reconnect with your relationship or marriage. So take care. Have a wonderful day. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.